Escapes. A little bit about me, in case you don't know. My name is Michelle Orr. I'm with Master Travel. We are been in the travel industry over 30 years. We specialize in customized luxury travel. We are one stop for a perfect worry-free vacation, and we really make the vacation planning process a pleasure. We are affiliates of Largay Travel and members of the Virtuoso Luxury Travel Network. I'll be talking a little bit about that tonight when we discuss some of the properties that we are going to look at tonight. So I always like to start off with a little funny. So here I'm going to just show you a funny video about why you might want to use a professional travel advisor.
Seems like every time I try to book a family vacation,
I'm dealing with shabby timeshares, hidden fees, and an ocean view that actually looks more like a parking lot.
but this time I used a travel agent. And look, even my daughter's happy. Hey honey, wouldn't you say that this spa is absolutely off the chain?
You see, instead of trusting some random internet review, I got expert advice from my travel agent, Fiona.
I'm sure Fiona is awesome, but you'll call me.
Look, our flight home's just been canceled. And Fiona's taking care of it for me.
So instead of
Oh my, what is
sitting in Concourse B right now, we're here bonding.
Why use an ASTA travel agent? Isn't it obvious?
Okay, so ASTA is the Association for Travel Agencies, and they made that funny video. Whoops, oh my gosh, technical difficulties, here we go. Okay, now let's get to the good stuff. New England, late summer and autumn escapes. So there's just a little map here of New England. I remember as a kid living in New York, I was shocked when I learned that New York was not part of New England, but that's okay. So why is New England a good area to travel to? First of all, there's a great history here, especially Revolutionary history, colonial towns, and walking tours. There's a great diversity of places to visit, from coastal hamlets to quiet beaches, mountains, and charming towns. It is a great destination for foodies, fresh seafood, farm-to-table cooking, and craft beers. And there are a large variety of fun experiences for everyone, including the arts, biking, hiking, sailing, cycling, fishing, whale watching, and even shopping, like for antiques. Another great part about visiting New England is that it pairs well with other destinations like New York State, the Hudson Valley, and Adirondacks. Quebec is very easy to get to, especially from Vermont, and going to Quebec, you'll feel like you are transported to another country. And also, we often pair New England trips with New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, which are great places to visit in the summer. So first, let's talk about Boston. Great city and a great place to start your New England adventure. Some of the great experiences that I can offer you are insider tours of Fenway Park. We can get you exclusive access inside Harvard University. You could even get a tour with a professor if you like. There's the Freedom Trail. We can do a VIP tour. That's a great walking tour outside on a beautiful day. You can learn a lot about the Kennedy family history. There's great classical music like the Boston Pops. And then, of course, Lexington and Concord, where the Revolutionary War started, are also fun places to visit. It's a great walkable city with lots of family-friendly options. Let's get to Rhode Island and Massachusetts now. Key destinations here are Watch Hill, Newport, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket. And some of the top experiences that you can have are sailing, visit the historical mansions, go out on an antique America's Cup yacht, cycling, sand dunes, and lobster and fishing charters. It's good to know that the water temperature here are cool, and you can actually take seaplanes and ferries to get to your destination instead of sitting in traffic. We can arrange for that as well. I just want to talk a little bit now about Watch Hill, Rhode Island. I'm going to focus on a couple of properties. This is the Ocean House. It is an iconic destination in Watch Hill, Rhode Island. It is on the waterfront. It's a Relayan Chateau and a Virtuoso property that recently celebrated its 150th anniversary. The amenities are seemingly endless and include access to a private beach and a 12,000 square foot spa. Their Center of Wine and Culinary Arts offers the perfect escape from the sun with classes in their wine cellar inspired by their school, and you would do a wine tasting with Erin Swain. She's one of the only female sommeliers on the East Coast. Guests also have access to bicycles and Mercedes vehicles to explore the town and surrounding area in style. And when you book through us, because they're a Virtuoso partner, you will get the amenities you see listed here. Upgrade on arrival if subject to availability, daily continental breakfast for two, $100 resort credit, early check-in, late checkout will be prioritized, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Great destination in Rhode Island. Next, we're going to go to Newport. Newport is a wonderful town right on the water. There is a plethora of historic mansions that were built for the very wealthy. These were their summer homes that they visited from New York City. You have the Tennis Hall of Fame, and you can sail in an America's Cup 12 meter, which is a great experience. I've done that myself. There's world-class dining and beaches. And one of the things that I like to suggest to do while you're in Newport is take the ferry to Block Island for the day and check that island. It's very small and there's some great beaches. And then on to Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard is awesome for multi-gen trips because there's such a variety of things to do. It's a very large island. You can fit about 10 block islands into one Martha's Vineyard. And there are 6 main areas: Edgartown, Oak Bluffs, Vineyard Haven, West Tisbury, Chilmark, and Aquina. Each has its own flavor. Like Edgartown is a very classic New England kind of preppy town with beautiful boutique shops and restaurants. Oak Bluffs is a little more lively at night. The country's oldest carousel is located in Oak Bluffs. There are charming Victorian homes that you see here in the picture. Martha's Vineyard is just an awesome destination in the summer. And then we have beautiful Nantucket. Our recommendation here is to stay at the White Elephant. It's an island landmark, and it has been named one of the finest luxury hotels on Nantucket Island for decades. It's steeped in island charm, and it's surrounded by the natural beauty. And what's really cool about the White Elephant is that not only can you stay in one of their chic rooms, but they also have many spacious suites, and they have areas downtown, like apartments that you can rent and residences that are right in town. The White Elephant itself is steps from a children's beach, the Brant Point Lighthouse, and the town of Nantucket. There's an outdoor heated pool. You can hop on a bike. The food is amazing. Wonderful, wonderful destination. Okay, on to Connecticut and Western Massachusetts. Key destinations here are Litchfield County, great for antiquing and its beauty. The Berkshires, and Western Mass is Springfield and Amherst. Top experiences that you will have here are leaf peeping, artisan visits. There's a lot of great art communities in this area of the country, cooking classes, VIP museum tours, fly fishing, and more. So leaf peeping is great in October. You can expect to be driving on an itinerary like this. It's great for country driving and rural exploration. Connecticut is good to pair with the Hudson Valley. And this is a popular area for arts and antiques enthusiasts. One place I'd like to highlight here is the Mass MoCA, which is the Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art. Even if you think your kids don't like museums, I promise you they will like this one. These are actually my own photos from a trip that I took with my own children about 5 years ago there. It's just a really lively, interactive museum. You get right up into the exhibits and the installations. It's super fun. So this is one area I definitely would recommend going. And this is Winvian Farm in Connecticut. I'm actually, whoops, I just want to pause the video right here and show you. This is great for right now. They have 18 cottages on the property. And as you can see on the map, they are all sort of socially distant from each other. So this is a wonderful destination. It is, the other really cool thing about it is that each of the cottages have a unique theme, and it's very whimsical. So while you're watching the video, look for the helicopter room. There's an actual helicopter inside the room, and there's a picture of that as well. There's also a tree house. This is great for the summer. You go for a walk. In the fall, you can check out the leaves, and it's great in the winter as well. Activities here include horseback riding, canoeing, golfing, guided river fly fishing, tennis, car racing, hot air ballooning, clay shooting, and glass blowing. This is also a Virtuosa property, so you would get the amenities here that I've listed: daily full breakfast served in the restaurant, $100 of spa credit, early check-in, late checkout, subject to availability, and complimentary Wi-Fi. This is an incredibly unique property. Even if you live in Connecticut, which I know some of you do, you really should consider visiting here. It's just spectacular. And then on to Vermont and New Hampshire. Key destinations here are the White Mountains, Stowe, Barnard, Woodstock, and the Green Mountains, of course. I should preface and say, for those who don't know me, I live in Vermont. It has been my second home for the past 30 years, and I made it my home 2 years ago. Great experiences here are craft beers, cider making, farm visits, hiking and kayaking, cooking classes, and of course, Ben & Jerry's. What would a visit to Vermont be without visiting the Ben & Jerry's factory? You can get a factory tour there. Vermont, it tends to be better for, it's on the more luxury side for foodies, and it's also a very romantic destination versus the White Mountains, which might provide a little more adventure for you. You can expect to self-drive here, and when you're ready to take a tour, you will meet our guides. And there, of course, is great leaf peeping. So the first property I would like to highlight here is the Woodstock Inn, very famous. You'll see in these 3 pictures, you've got spring, fall, and winter. It's amazing at Christmas and New Year's Eve. I had clients go there. They do a great job. It's a very historic town, and the main street is full of charming boutiques and shops. There's great restaurants. The area is rich in recreation and abundant adventure in the surrounding Green Mountains. And it's just a classic resort: golf, tennis, farms. And this is about 45 minutes from where I live in Weston, Vermont, so I want to highlight that as well. Weston, Vermont is home to the original Vermont Country Store. We have a beautiful mill here. There's a museum. And then, of course, we have the Weston Playhouse, which won't be open this summer, but in the future, it's something to consider. We get a lot of Hollywood celebrities that come here to do summer plays. It's awesome. And then we have Twin Farms, also in Vermont. It's good to know that this is an adult-only resort. There are a couple of weeks during the year where they do allow children, but in general, I would recommend this as a couple's getaway. It's located in Barnard, Vermont. It's 10 miles north of Woodstock. It's on 300 acres of rolling hills. It's an original 1795 farmhouse that was transformed into gracious living and dining rooms, plus 4 elegant guest suites. And then we have cottages on the properties here. And just like Winvian, it has, all the rooms are, has its own unique flavor to it. There's excellent 5-star cuisine and wines. Outdoor activities in the summer would include canoeing, fishing, swimming, hiking, tennis, cycling, and croquet. And this is also a Virtuosa partner. So you would get the daily full breakfast. There's an upgrade on arrival subject to availability. and you get a welcome gift, which is house-made honey with locally made pottery, which is just wonderful. And I also want to talk a little bit about Backroads. This is a company that I work with that many of you might know for its cycling trips. However, they do also offer multi-sport trips. I just call this active travel, which is an amazing way to see a place you haven't visited before. It's also a great way to see a place that you think you know well, because traveling by bike, you just see the countryside in a way that you can't imagine that you would. It's incredible. What I love about Backroads, especially for someone like myself who is not in the most shape, I took a trip with them back in September, and they offer levels 1, 2, and 3 every single day for the bike ride. So level 1 would be a flatter route, not as long, and you can go all the way up to 3 for the expert cyclist. You don't have to be with the group the whole time. These are small group tours. They are pre-done itineraries, and they have specific departure dates. But I will say, even though it's a small group, you are generally on your own or with your family or by yourself if you want to be as well. If you're tired of cycling, you can just get a ride in the van to go to the next destination. Their multi-sport trips would include hiking, kayaking. What else do they? It's a great active way to see a country. And they have amazing departures in Vermont at the peak of foliage. You ride through Vermont, you see the picturesque rivers, old red barns, meandering waterways. You'll do a lot of food touring. You'll explore the charming villages as well. I also want to say that where they put you up in hotels are generally 5-star accommodations where available. I mean, it is a top-notch program. Here for 6 days, it starts at $38.99 per person, all-inclusive. I put an asterisk there because the all-inclusive will include some alcohol, but not all of the alcohol. And if, of course, you choose to go dine somewhere else on your own, that would not be included. And then we go on to coastal Maine. Here, the key destinations are Ogunquit, the Kennebunks, Portland, Camden, Bar Harbor, and Acadia National Park, one of the truly beautiful national parks in our country. The top experience here, again, the craft beer tasting, seeing lighthouses, biking. You can do Acadia flight seeing, which is seeing the park by a small plane. We can arrange private lobstering cruises and dinners, kayaking, and then the town of Portland has an amazing art community there, so that's also a lot of fun. And again, just like I did before, I want to highlight a couple of properties that I recommend. The first one here is the Cliff House. It's one of the most captivating oceanfront destinations of its kind. It is set on the edge of the Atlantic on a rocky coast in southern Maine. It's actually right near Ogunquit sandy beaches, which is a great location. It has panoramic ocean and coastal views from 130 stylish guest rooms, a luxury spa and wellness center, oceanfront dining, outdoor adventures, and some more. Again, a perfect family destination. The Virtuoso amenities here are upgrade on arrival, if available, daily continental breakfast for 2 per bedroom. You will receive the Cliff House Maine signature sea bag tote, which is made from recycled sails. And of course, you'll have the early check-in, late checkout, subject to availability, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Another great destination here in Maine is the White Barn Inn. I'm just going to pause right here because I want to show you this slide. This is part of the Auberge Resorts. It's also a Virtuoso partner. In addition to their main building, they do have cottages right on the water like you see here. So again, if you're not comfortable staying in a hotel, this is a great destination. You can have all the amenities of the inn while you stay in a cottage. I love that idea. There's a swimming pool, there's a wonderful spa, and there's convenient access to fine shopping and art galleries in Kennebunkport. And if you've heard of Kennebunkport, that's great. It is where the Bush family has had homes and vacationed forever. Here you will get the exclusive Virtuoso amenities, which are upgrade on arrival, subject to availability. complimentary continental breakfast daily for two, $100 hotel credit, private kitchen tour, early check-in, late checkout subject to availability, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Wow, someone's printing. Sorry for the noise in the background. So that kind of wraps up my take on New England. I think right now with the COVID, we're gonna start seeing the hotels opening up in early to mid-June. And I can tell you, if you're curious about staying in any of these places, I will share with you at the time of booking, you know, all the things that these hotels are doing to ensure that your stay with them is safe, from outdoor dining to the way that they're cleaning the rooms. They're protecting their own employees as well. Sometimes they'll have 24 hours between stays so that the room, there's more than 24 hours between two guests. There's a whole variety because we're really trying, the industry really wants you guys to come back and travel when they're open up and wants you to feel very comfortable doing so. If anyone has questions, there is a chat box here where you can ask them. And I can see your chat right now, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I also recommend that if you weren't with me last Monday night, that you go back and watch the RV webinar that I did last week. We had a really good response to that. We're booking people to national parks and RVs as we speak, and I'm very excited to see that people are feeling more comfortable getting back out there for travel. So again, if you don't have any questions, this will be the end of the webinar. And I thank you so much for joining me. What are the best weeks for leaf peeping in southern Vermont? Great question. So we can't, it's not an exact science, but from my personal experience, if we were going to pick the best weeks, I would say for southern Vermont, it would be the first 2 weeks of October, and for northern Vermont, it might be a little bit later, maybe the second, third, and fourth weeks, but definitely not in November. You will see the leaves start to turn here mid-September, so sometimes the last week of September. We do have beautiful foliage and it's still nice and warm as well. Thanks for asking that, Lindsay. Okay, great. When will Manchester area open? Great question, because I just learned today that the stores opened today, which is awesome. I learned this on my local page because people are wanting to know about the stores. So the stores are allowed to open. In fact, our governor has pretty much opened our state in like a 3-tier process. We've had very low cases of COVID, so the stores are allowed to open. That doesn't mean that all the stores are opening. Some are choosing to stay closed right now, and some have opened. I believe that people were allowed into the very famous North Shore bookstore today, and I heard that was a great experience. Yes, yay. I say yay to that too, because it's not, yep, the outlets are also open. So all the stores in Manchester are, like I said, they're allowed to open. I don't know if all of them are. I can certainly get back to you on that to see what response people had today to the new opening. But this is the first week that Vermonters can shop. We can get our hair cut. I mean, all sorts of things. So thank you for asking, Mary Lynn. I appreciate that. Okay, great. So I thank you again for joining me this evening. I hope you learned a lot about places in New England. I know I have lived here pretty much my whole life, and there are still a ton of places that I have not explored. So I hope you're inspired as well to take a look in our own backyard. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mary Lynn. I appreciate that. Okay, Amanda, we can stop now. I don't know how to. All right. Let's see, stop share. There's me, end meeting. Thank you, everybody.